No, I'm real. I tell it as it is. I'm sorry. I'm not having this pampering over it. That's the problem with our fan base, and that's why we don't go forward, because we think
Claude.
success is
limited, man. We don't want to.
Let me say one thing, Claude. Let me say one thing, Claude. This is not about the fan base. It's not about the fan base. This is about
guys. One at a time. Go on, Egal.
Claude, this is not about the fan base, not about anything else. We're talking about what is the greatest Premier League team, right? And when we're talking about the greatest Premier League teams, Arsenal Invincibles have a shout to be spoken about. And if guys are saying they're discrediting the team by saying that shouldn't be even mentioned based on the Invincible season, and you as an Arsenal fan, Claude, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace because you are honestly discrediting your team. You're discrediting your own team.
Don't call me a disgrace. I told the truth. Unlike you and your partner on the other channel.
You're not talking about the team. You're not talking about them performance. Listen to you. You're talking about the treble-winning side is put into that bracket because of the achievement that they got in Europe and in the cup competitions. Don't forget that. It's not only based on the Premier League performance. So when you talk about only Premier League performances, that achievement is one of the greatest Premier League achievements. Well, let me finish.
But that isn't
one of the greatest Premier League.
What are you talking about? How many points did they get that year? How many points did they get that year?
Claude.
That year? Don't talk crap, mate. Don't talk crap.
He's not.
How many points did they get that year? How many points?
Stop getting over emotional and shouting. Have a civil conversation, mate. Have a civil conversation, mate. There's no point shouting. I'm not in Africa.
Listen, you can draw 38 games and go get relegated and be unbeaten.
Why are you shouting? Calm down. Why are you shouting? We can't hear your point if you're shouting. Speak civilly, please.
Egal is here as well, gentlemen. So I know you've had to listen.
I love it. This ain't fair.
No, well, Nick's come on and had a pop, but I've had a little pop at Arsenal tonight as well. But they're going to give the boys. We'll go to first. Do you think, Claude, that people overrate the Invincibles by saying they're like Adam, who said they're the greatest Premier League team ever?
They're a top side, but they're not the best Arsenal side I've seen. And I'm going to say it now. No, I'm going to say it now. 98 was better. They won the double, better team. I'm going to say 2002 was a better team. And I'm even going to say, I'm going to go even as far as to say the 91 team before the Premier League is a better team. Much better. In fact, it's a better team than all of them. 91 and 89 was a much bigger achievement because then that was one of the greatest Liverpool sides ever.
This guy's going back.
One of the greatest Liverpool sides. This Liverpool side does not compare with the side of the Liverpool 80s. There we go.
Okay. I mean, again, that would look. If I'm sitting here, I'm being Switzerland here, and I'm backing Anita in this. I would then say that if Arsenal fans rate the Invincibles above all them teams, that's almost the definition of overrating. Then, if you think all them teams are better than the Invincibles, but Arsenal fans say, and Anita's point is the reason she says they're a really good team, but the fact they say they're the greatest ever, that's what makes them overrated. That means
nobody said they're the greatest ever. You know, by the way,
a lot of people say that.
I didn't say that.
Well, you said they're one of the best. You
I didn't say that, Terry.
What?
Terry, I don't say it. They're not the greatest ever.
Some Arsenal fans do. Some Arsenal fans do.
No, Terry, let me tell you something. Let me tell what gets in what really upsets me about this whole argument, right? And it's our fan base. Is that sometimes it can be a bit of a joke, our fan base, yeah? Right? This team we've got, right? Yeah, at the moment, it's one of the worst teams I've ever seen at the moment. Yeah, there's people saying that we've got world-class players. We've only, to be honest with you, maybe have one world-class player. Yeah? They always go over the top, right? The 2014, right? They should have won. Forget all this unbeaten. I would have took 2 defeats in that season to win. We should have won the fucking treble that year. We put a weakened side out in the fucking FA Cup semi-final. We put a weakened side in the FA Cup semi-final. In the Champions League, we were more concentrating on getting this unbeaten run, and we messed up. That I would have took 3 defeats in that season and won the Champions League. I'm not interested. It's bloody gold trophy is getting on my nerves. At the end of the day, it's just another Premier League trophy. And I get Adam's point now. I'm going to have a go at Adam here. Right. Adam, you said, "Oh, it's no one's ever achieved." Yeah, something no one's ever achieved. So if a golfer, it's a rare event when a golfer gets a hole in one.
Yeah.
But would he rather have a hole in one or a major title?
Claude, the
Answer me
socioeconomic
that question, Adam.
status I'm in, I can't afford to play golf, so I really don't know.
No, but I'm telling you.
I really don't know.
Go on, Adam.
I'm asking you a question. What would a golfer say? Would he rather have a major or a hole in one, which is very rare? Yeah,
He'd probably
carry on. I mean, but that year we should have won. We could have won the treble that year. Wenger put a weakened side in the FA Cup semi-final against Man United, right? And in the end, we were knackered after that because after the players got injured, and we went on to that Champions League. We beat Chelsea 3 times that season. Yet we couldn't beat them in the Champions League because of that. Right? I'm not interested in hearing all this rubbish. I keep hearing it. Invincible. It's driving me mad.
So neat. It looks like, I mean, oh, you got one of the biggest.
Because I speak as a realist. I don't speak like a dreamer. I speak as a realist.
Adam,
fan base don't speak as it.
Adam, where do you actually? So on a just look at Premier League era because of age. We'll pro age into that because, like me and you, we didn't watch football. We weren't old enough or born. Where do you rate the Invincibles in the Premier League era in terms of teams? What slot in greatest? And of course, unlike I know I like Rack, but the thing about winning not being important is mad. You know, if winning weren't important, Claude wouldn't be so famous. Do you get what I mean? It's true. Where would you personally rank the Invincibles, mate?
Okay, if we're talking about everything, they probably just sneak into the top 5. And that goes back to the stuff I was talking about before with the Manchester United team. I said treble winning, but I meant the three-peat Manchester United team. One of the Chelsea teams, like I said, the Centurions, all of them. But again, because of the unprecedented nature of what they've done, they have to be in the top 5 for me. The order of it, I really don't know, because we can talk about the defensive prowess of Chelsea. We can talk about their goal record season. Like, it really depends on how you view the game. But yeah, if another team comes and does it, Arsenal get knocked off their perch. But until then, I'm sorry, they're in the top 5 for me, and I'm not budging.
And from your point of view, Anita, if an Arsenal fan's putting them into top 5, do you still consider that to be overrating them?
Yeah, 100%. Because like Claude just said, it's not even the best Arsenal team. Like, you're putting them in the top 5. You're putting them in the top 5 in vain, in my opinion. Like, again, I will say this again and again because I feel like some people are not hearing me. The team is very good. I really do appreciate the style of football that they were playing at the time. Wenger, amazing, great, brilliant, cool, fine, whatever. At the end of the day, I can name you 4 teams, and Claude has named you 3 teams, Arsenal teams, that were better than the Invincibles. So saying that they're top 5 is still overrated for me.
Can I say something now?
It is a top 5. We've got a few minutes left. So you've got.
It is. One second, Claude.
You're talking about other teams in the past. I can say another team, but you're talking about Premier League now, aren't you?
Premier League. It just in terms of Premier League. So, Egal, go on, mate.
One second. I wanted to jump on and tell you guys, we're also, you have to rate the team based on the achievements. Every team that's great by the Premier League stature has been rated based on their achievement. And that achievement based on Arsenal doesn't discredit. You guys are discrediting them based on their achievement, based on the fact that they drew games, this and that. When you compare everyone's achievements, Arsenal's invincible season was such a great achievement that it has to be put in the top 5 based on the achievement alone. You can't put a team, the treble-winning side is put into that bracket because of the achievement that they got in Europe and in the cup competitions. Don't forget that. It's not only based on the Premier League performance. So when you talk about only Premier League performances, that achievement is one of the greatest Premier League achievements. Well, let me finish.
But that isn't
one of the greatest Premier League.
What are you talking about? How many points did they get that year? How many points did they get that year?
Claude.
That year? Don't talk crap, mate. Don't talk crap.
He's not.
I'm not
Now,
talking
how many
crap.
points did they get that year? How many points?
Stop getting
How can you
over
say
emotional
that?
and shouting.
You
And have a
How
civil
many points
conversation,
did they
mate.
get?
Have a civil conversation, mate.
Don't
There's no
matter
point
about
shouting.
it all, draw.
I'm not in Africa.
Listen, you
I
can
can
draw
hear you.
38 games and go get relegated and be
Why are you
unbeaten.
shouting? Why are you shouting?
So
Calm
what's
down.
the
Calm down.
point?
Calm down. Why are you shouting? We
Oh,
can't hear your point if you're shouting. Speak civilly,
rubbish.
please.
I don't,
Speak civilly, please.
Again, what I would say, again, I'm trying to
don't
be.
tell me what. How to calm
Bro,
down.
I
don't
can't
need
hear
to
what
tell
you're saying. If you want me to hear your point, don't
No, we
shout
can
at
hear
the
him. We
mic.
can hear him. We can hear him.
Come
Listen, I think for me, I get your point. It is a really good achievement. But again, when you start saying top 5, when you actually start to break it down, every other team that's within the top 10 has an achievement. You've got Arsenal double winning team, right? That's winning a double. Like, I don't know, maybe this is lost on the younger generation. Like, doing a double is a rarity, and it's a massive achievement. I know going invincible is as well, but I'm pointing out double is a rarity and a massive achievement. Winning a Premier League and Champions League at the same time is a massive achievement. Winning trophies back to back is a really big achievement. Getting over 100 points is a really big achievement. So you kind of got, if the Centurions are in the top 10 and it's based on over 100 points, this Liverpool team, top 5, this Liverpool team this season is going to get over 100 points. Is going to have to go into that top 5. Right? The treble winning team, if you ever leave that out of the top 5, I think you're being biased. It's only down to 3. And then you think about, so for me, I kind of feel I do get where Claude and Nita are coming from. I think the Invincible team were brilliant. But where I think they're overrated is, I mean, they're about 7 or 8 from my list. And by the way, it's still good. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, I would say something like Bad by Michael Jackson, the song was maybe about his 7th or 8th best song, but it was still a banging song.
90 points. 90 points is overrated.
Hey, Terry, they lost to Middlesbrough. Unbeaten, yeah. They lost to Middlesbrough in the semi-final of the League Cup.
I've got my own guy.
That's how good they were.
No.
Come on, let's get it. Let's get this into perspective. Yeah.
They're overrated. What do you want me to say? Flipping hell, Claude.
I'm real. I tell it as it is. I'm sorry. I'm not having this pampering over it. That's the problem with our fan base, and that's why we don't go forward, because we think
Claude.
success is limited.
Man, we don't want to.
Let me say one thing, Claude. Let me say one thing, Claude. This is not about the fan base. It's not about the fan base. This is about
guys. One at a time. Go on, Egal.
Claude, this is not about the fan base, not about anything else. We're talking about what is the greatest Premier League team, right? And when we're talking about the greatest Premier League teams, Arsenal Invincibles have a shout to be spoken about. And if guys are saying they're discrediting the team by saying that shouldn't be even mentioned based on the Invincible season, and you as an Arsenal fan, Claude, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace because you are honestly you're discrediting your team. You're discrediting your own team.
Don't call me a disgrace. I told the truth. Unlike you and your partner on the other channel.
You're not talking about the team. You're not talking about them performances. You're talking about now. Stop talking about now. We're talking about back then. Go remember that time. Go remember that time. How old were you then?
Don't come and say,
old enough to remember that. Come on, bro.
Right?
Bro, you're a disgrace, mate. You're a disgrace, mate. You keep talking about you never.
Listen, you've been watching football for 10 years. I've been watching the game for over 40 years. Don't tell me, right, I'm a disgrace, right, for making my opinion. I care about my football club.
What valid point
I care about my football club.
I'm not discrediting that.
People like you,
this argument, you haven't got any substance.
Yeah, stop a minute. What I would say, to defend Claude here, he did bring a point up. He brought a point up in that season, for instance, we rested players in FA Cups and in Champions Leagues, which he thinks was to ensure they went unbeaten, but it cost them additional trophies. That for me is a fair point to for an Arsenal fan to throw in and say, I rate them, but I rate the double season higher because we won 2 trophies. I'm actually annoyed about the Invincible season being glorified beyond what it was, because we actually hamper their opportunity of winning other trophies because we were so hell-bent on going unbeaten. I do think that's a valid point. I don't think that's a weird thing to say. I don't think that's disrespecting Arsenal, I look at it, for me, if Man United were to discount, like I'd have got Spurs when they were talking about, we don't really care about FA Cups and League Cups, we want to win the big ones. I look at that type of attitude, which sounds like what Claude is saying. Is like, we don't really care if we win them, we just want to get this one. I don't like that type of attitude. So I think that's a good point made by Claude to say he didn't bring
let me say my point though. I thought the fact that he's bringing up what's going on now and talking about fans now has no substance to do with what happened them times. you have to actually remember at that time, the team was obviously going to be spoken about as this great team. You live in the moment. Right now, we're living in a moment where Arsenal is not so good. So he's constantly going based on what's happening now, discrediting or maybe even lowering the standard of what happened back then. It was a great achievement then. It should be considered a great achievement now, just as much as any achievement goes down.
Because he's big enough from back in the day. Pardon?
I'm a realist. I'm a realist.
I was saying, like, you can't really use that.
This guy's worked football for 10 years and start telling me.
Claude, one
He's
sec. Let
only barely out of Naples. He's telling me. He's probably watched more ice hockey than football. And he's telling me about football, talking about football. Come on.
Canada. Just because I'm Canadian, right? It's cool. It's cool.
One sec. Anita, what are you going to say?
Me off on his channel. That's all he's good at.
I was literally just gonna say I don't think you can say that about Claude, saying that because of the state that Arsenal's in right now, that he's discrediting what happened back then. Because Claude has literally said 2 other Arsenal teams were better. Like, he's bigging them up as well. Do you understand? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that you could bring that point up against Claude. Like, it don't make sense to me.
Okay, to be fair, when I jumped in, he wasn't talking about them at that point. When I jumped in, what I heard made me say that reaction, and maybe that's unfit. Claude, I'll tell you this honestly. I respect your opinion, but when it comes to this situation, I think time has diluted the great teams. Every team back in the day was great at their time, and what happens now gets weighted at a heavier point. So the Centurions, it's more memorable in your memory, so more people talk about them as a great team.
Not really. I talk about Chelsea.
Rubbish. If you get 100 points, it's better to get 100 points. That is an achievement. Yeah. You can go 12 games unbeaten. You can go, yeah, cool. All right, you get 12 draws in a season, yeah. But really, that season we didn't go unbeaten, really, because we lost to Middlesbrough in the League Cup. Middlesbrough, come on, let's have a go. Middlesbrough in the League Cup, and we beat Chelsea in the FA Cup and in the league twice, yeah. Yet, not in the it was the FA Cup and the Premier League twice. Yet we couldn't beat them in the Champions League. You know why? Because our mental edge went. We didn't have the mentality to carry it over the line. And you know, we should have won that. Who won it that year? Porto. We would have won that Champions League.
You would have beaten them. 100%. You would have beaten them.
I'm jumping in late. Anita, what was your team?
That annoyed me. That's annoying me because for me, he will never go. For me, if that was George Graham, we would have gone on to win the treble that year because he's tactically far superior to Wenger.
There you go, gentlemen. I appreciate Egal and Claude both coming on. We'll be wrapping the show up now and whatnot. We'll chat again. Claude, Egal, it's always an absolute pleasure having you on, Claude. We'll speak to you soon, mate. Take care,
Terry. I say thank you very much. I speak the truth. I say as it is. I'm not gonna be biased. Because it doesn't get us anywhere. If we don't look at our faults and we think everything is great and don't look at our faults, we will not go further. Right?
I get that, mate.
Because they looked at their faults and they done something about it. Thank you.
All right, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, Claude. Thanks, mate.